Great to see you all here. I'm here on behalf of the Fishermen's Union, which is part of the Canadian Auto Workers. We're thousands of members who fish for a living, work in fish plants, and are dependent on healthy fisheries, healthy salmon runs, and a healthy ocean. But our jobs and livelihoods are in jeopardy at this point as we look at what's happening with sea lice and disease coming from salmon farms, huge mega salmon farms owned by a handful of multinational companies in Norway, and we see our livelihoods and jobs at stake. We have worked on this issue for a long time. It was back in the mid-80s that the Fishermen's Union first flagged a major problem as fish farms were just becoming established on the BC coast. In 1988, we sent a delegation to Norway on a fact-finding mission to see what was happening there, as farms had been in the water a lot longer. They were extremely alarmed and came back, and our union called for immediate action from both the provincial and federal governments to protect our wild salmon. What did they do? Absolutely nothing. 10 years later, a lot of groups demanded an official environmental review of the fish farm industry, and that took place. Finally, there were some recommendations for change, 49 recommendations to try to protect our wild ecosystem. A few things were done, but the regulations that were put in place were dismal, inadequate, and unenforceable. Case in point, there's a sea lice management regime in place by the provincial government. It has done nothing to stop huge lice loads on the farms that are in northern Georgia Strait, a narrow corridor that all Fraser River salmon must pass through to get to open ocean. All those a billion juvenile salmon must pass through there, and now we see a collapse of our Fraser River sockeye. Does this make me pessimistic about change? No. As a matter of fact, I'm heartened by a major victory that we had. We launched a campaign on the North Coast in conjunction with Friends of Wild Salmon, the Coastal Alliance for Aquaculture Reform, commercial fishermen, sports fishermen, First Nations, and local communities, saying we do not want any farms put on the North Coast where there were none at that point, and we won. And it was people like you banding together, taking a stand, fighting for their coast, fighting for their salmon, and that's what we need to do here. I ask that we all join together to tell our governments there must be action. Let's work together, let's fight together, and together we will win.